Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's great to have you here again and thank you once again for sticking around. In today's video I want to share with you some book recommendation for summer. As the summer months come by, we have a little bit more time to read. Some of us even set challenges for the summertime, and normally we go towards books that are a bit more laid back, a little bit more relaxing in a sense, and this can come into different genre of course. And so, fun fact, as I'm sitting to film this video, it's pouring rain outside. I think you can hear it, so it doesn't really feel like summer here in Munich, but we've had an amazing June and July so far with a lot of sunny days, and yeah, we could go to the lake and just enjoy the sun. And I'm going home soon, so I don't feel like I'm missing out. But yeah, so I just have some books over here that I would like to share with you, and I've tried to mix and match it to fit different preferences and different tastes. So without further ado, let's get into the recommendations. I am starting with a non-fiction. I know that quite a lot of people also like to read some non-fiction books, and from my side, if you know me and you've been here long enough, you know that I don't really read anything that is around personal development or anything that is too non-fiction-y. And the furthest I go in non-fiction are essays, a collection of essays and memoirs. And today I want to recommend this collection of essays. And let me tell you what I mean by the late Joan Didion. I was really heartbroken when I realized she died this year only. She's such a staple, such a great writer. This is one I read this year. It has essays from her time when she was writing for Vogue or general pieces that she wrote, and there's a little bit of everything from critiques to commentary, and the essays are short, are sweet, the font is quite big, and the writing style is, as always, absolutely great, absolutely amazing. I got mine from Shakespeare & Co. last time I was in Paris. I've been wanting to read this one for such a long time, and I would just highly recommend it. I have a lot of underlined paragraphs with absolute love for the writing style. It's amazing, and still we get to venture and journey into Joan's mind, which is quite fascinating as a mind, I shall say. So yeah, this is my first recommendation for all non-fiction lovers out there. Okay, my second recommendation, so we're going back into novels, and this one honestly has been one of the many books from Italian literature that I suddenly found myself reading. I didn't do it on purpose, or it wasn't really intentional, but I ended up reading a lot of Italian literature from all sort of authors and all sort of time periods, and let me tell you that I'm amazed by this writing and this train of thoughts. It's amazing. There's something about Italian authors that I really love, and I would make a separate video. So this one I would say would be amazing for anybody who is either experiencing or toying with the idea of motherhood or the experience of motherhood. We have The Lost Daughter by Elena Ferrante. Many of you might heard of Elena Ferrante from her other really popular trilogy, My Brilliant Friend. I haven't read this one yet. It's like this family in Napoli, and maybe I really should get into this, but this is a short kind of novella, and it's about this mother, or this is the identity that she chooses to use for herself in the book, and she finally can go away during the summer by herself, and for the first time in years she can discover herself as the woman she is, as opposed to a mother to her daughters. And then we have a look back at her life, also while mirroring her existence through some people she meets in the beach, this woman she meets in the beach and her toddler, and then there is a doll involved. So it's really a metaphor for motherhood, and it's set on a really nice Greek island, so very much summery vibe, all while exploring what motherhood is, where it starts, where it ends, and what it entails, and how it shapes identities. So I would highly recommend this book. It's also really short. Staying with Italian literature, I had to mention Last Summer in the City by Gianfranco Calicaric. I think I've spoken about this one on my I think it's my last video. I will leave it here and you can go and yeah, just hear me talk about it more. This is set in Rome of the 60s during the summer, and we can really feel the huge presence of the summer, like the heaviness of the year, the air, the humidity, but also this dolce vita, this dolce far niente sense. However, this book is not very light, or it's quite dark and it has a dark turn. It's the psychological exploration of the characters. I would say it's a literary fiction, but still also short, where we're following our two main characters as they meet in Rome, as they fall in love, and then as they fall apart, and all while exploring dark places in the self, and how things left unsaid or things left undone do have a lasting effect that's drag years on. There's a lot around topics of mental health struggles, and also death and grief. So I would go with this while keeping that in mind. However, this classical tone, these almost historical feels are so strong in here, and the descriptions are really awakening for the senses, so it's a great reading experience in itself. So if you feel like this is what you want to get into, I would recommend this one, and the writing is amazing. This has been translated, and shout out to the translator who did an amazing job. It's translated by Howard Curtis. It kept so much of the essence of this book, and the writing is so lyrical and extremely beautiful, and just so on point with the human condition. So highly recommend this one. Okay, keeping on with this heavy, melancholic summer mood, before I move to the more happy readings, I had to mention Bonjour Tristesse by Françoise Sagan. This is translated from French, and so I read it in English somehow. I don't know how I ended up reading it in English. I think I just, you know, sometimes things just go over your head, and this is what happened with this one. So this is a coming out of age story following the main character, who spends summer with her dad in this huge mansion in the south of France, right? I think it's the south of France. Yeah, exactly, the Riviera. So they go there every summer, they spend the summer there, and in this summer there's a new persona that comes into play. Our protagonist has a very strong relationship with her father, who was the only person around, so he brought her up as a single dad. They have this very funny relationship, this very strong friendship, and so this other persona comes in. Our protagonist is going through probably some sort of puberty, and she discovers the sense of being, or this consciousness that you get suddenly when you get into certain years. I think everybody went through that, and so this is what we're exploring. This is also dark. Yeah, the ending is again dark, which is interesting. There's a theme here. I'm doing okay. It's just that these books normally are written with such a melancholy, such a nostalgic sense, and I love that because it just translates so much into writing, and it makes it so lyrical, and I love to read great lyrical writing. And there's also, of course, this summer vibe in the Riviera, this description of the sea, of being in this villa for the summer, all while again exploring the human condition. And it's also very short. This one has two stories. This is why it looks big, but Bonjour Tristesse is actually quite small. Okay, I think I just want to double check if it's all for the sad ones. Oh, okay. Maybe we have one here that I would say is also a bit tragic. This is The Blue Between Sky and Water. So this is for everybody who wants to read while learning about current situation, current events. This is set in Palestine, specifically in Gaza, so we still get this Mediterranean proximity to the water, this Mediterranean vibe. While reading about the Palestinian condition, it's also important to acknowledge that these people have lives, and their lives can be, you know, stories and can be enjoyable. So it's not always reading about tragic experiences. While this book is tragic, you do learn a lot about the Palestinian situation, about the open air prison that is Gaza, or Gaza in Arabic, and we follow this family since 1947, when the Nakba happens, all the way into present day. And yeah, we get to learn a lot about how this family dispersed in the world, how the Nakba affected their lives, and how that still survive and persist to this present day, all while exploring and enjoying the Palestinian culture and the Palestinian sense of community and family and food and so on and so forth. But this is also quite heavy, and there are some tragic events, but this is for everybody who wants to have sort of like summer feel or this sea proximity while exploring some substantial situations or something that is currently happening, and some topic that is timely and important as well. I think we're good with the heavy books, and now we slowly move to the lighter, nicer... Oh, okay, no. There is one more heavy book. Oh my god, okay. I had to mention Sunset by Jessie Cave. Again, fun fact, Jessie Cave was actually in Harry Potter. I forgot her name. She was this girl with curly hair. She had like a secondary role, but I forgot her name. I'll put a picture of her here. So the actress turned into a writer, and this is a book that's more like modern fiction, maybe I would say literary fiction a bit, but we follow these two sisters at the beginning of the book that go on vacation. I just want to see... Yeah, okay, they go on vacation together. I think they will go to somewhere in the Mediterranean again. I think it's either Greece or Croatia. So these two sisters were going on vacation every year together. Every year they go somewhere new. The older one always would take her little sister under her wing, of course inviting her and covering her expenses. The younger one is a bit struggling with life, even though they're both adults. But yeah, it's this beautiful relationship between the sisters, but then this summer something bad happened, and yeah, what comes after that is an exploration of the hardships in life, bonds, sisterhood bonds, grief, and so much more. Of course, there's the backdrop of these travels, because it's a shifting perspective, and it's also shifting chronological perspective. So we go back and forth between the past and the present. I know this is not everybody's cup of tea, but I personally really love that. And so of course we also get the backdrop of the Mediterranean, a sea resort, vacation, this feeling of the airport. One of the sisters actually even working at an airport. So you get that feeling, but there's also quite a tragic story happening as you read about that. So if you want to go into something a bit heavier again, exploring sisterhood, family bonds and adulthood and everything that comes with tragedy, then I would also recommend this one. I think we're good. Okay, I'm seeing one here that also has... No, okay, it doesn't. Okay, let's be honest here. So I'm just trying to finish on a very positive note, so I think I'm gonna start by this one. This is One True Love by Taylor Jenkins Reid, one of my favorite books ever. I'm not a big fan of romance books, so I don't read fully romance books, even though sometimes I really crave them, and now I am, so maybe I will be reading some of those soon, because it's just light, it's nice, it's exploring human relationships and human characters, and just something that makes you feel good, and that's great, we love that. But this one, Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote amazing books like Daisy Jones and the Six, like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, this one, A Malibu Rising, which I haven't read yet, and it's on my TBR for this summer. I have ordered it, and so I'm waiting for it to arrive. Maybe I'll even do a book haul, because I've ordered so many books and maybe I'll share with you my TBR for the summer in a separate video. So this one is about this woman who's about to get married, everything is great, but then her fiance or husband goes on this helicopter journey and his helicopter gets or crashes and he is missing. So obviously everybody thinks that he died after some time, and so she also goes through the situation, grieves, and she meets somebody else. And as she does that, her husband comes back. It turns out that he was not dead, he was just lost at sea, but he managed to survive and now he's back. And this is obviously a shock because it's after a year or two, and obviously she had kind of moved on because she just thought he was dead. And here is this question of what happened to love when we lose the people we love, as in they die. What happened to that love, right? Where is it stored? How does it grow, or how does it fluster? So all these questions, and then in this situation, what do you do? And this is funny, because it's a question I've always asked myself before, and then I found out that there is a book about this. And Taylor Jenkins Reid is a queen at writing characters. She's great with character development, with character writings. She's very sturdy with that, but she is so good with playing with relationships and with characters. Her characters in all of her books are absolutely great, and they develop really well, and they are very eloquent, they are very sensible, so really great characters, so highly recommend this one. Okay, then we have two books. One is the one I read this year, is Expectations by Anna Hope, and here we follow, so it says here what happened to the women we were supposed to become. We follow these three friends who've known each other since university, and it's a shift in perspective between the present and the past, and we kind of explore what they were set to become or what they dreamed of becoming, and then what happened to them as they went into late adulthood, as they went into families, marriages, motherhood, and these developments of their own. And this is for me really something I think about a lot, things we want, or I wanted in my early 20s. I'm 27 right now, life is happening, we're growing older, we see people around us going into different lives, getting married, becoming parents, growing into their careers, venturing into businesses, and so we just explore. I question sometimes what I wanted, what I want, how that would look like in the future, and so it was great reading about this from the perspective of these three women. Highly recommend this one. And then one last book, screams summer, and this one is happy-ish. This is Summer of '69 by Eileen Hilderbrand, and I bought it just because of the title at the beginning. Summer of '69 is one of my favorite songs ever, so that's the song by Bryan Adams. I love that song and just the vibe of it, and also Summer of '69 is an interesting summer in American history, not the worst. There was Vietnam War happening, also Woodstock was happening at that time, and also like the end of the 60s in general, so it's quite an interesting vibe also for the people that like pop culture, American pop culture, music. It's interesting as a year, and I love the vibes of late 60s, late 70s. So here we follow a family with 4 siblings as they live through that summer of war, that summer of music. They go every year to Nantucket, so this is a small island on the east coast by the Atlantic, so in the US, and so you get this super nice summer vibe. And of course we follow this family, all the tragedies that happen, things that they struggle with, but also this very strong sense of family, and this kind of like blood is thicker than water, so it really applies to this. And I love reading family sagas, and especially this backdrop of Nantucket and this summery vibe. Really great book, quite long. We have very many different perspectives from all of the siblings and their mother, but it just ties together super well and makes for an amazing story, so I would highly recommend this one. And with that comes the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me talking about books, and I hope you found some recommendations, and let me know if you've read or planning to read any of these books. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you're not, and also to subscribe to this channel. And I will see you in my next video. Until then, happy reading. Bye.